Hello. I am in Ireland. I've been here for a whole week now and I'm really loving it. I got so lucky coming to Killarney, having my workaway be basically right next to the national park. So I just hop on a bike and I'm there so fast. I climbed a mountain. um, yeah, that was like 2 days ago. I climbed up Mangerton Mountain, which has an elevation of 838 meters. And when you're going up there, so you go up, there's like a rocky path. There's lots and lots of yellow flowers that I associated with Portugal because that was where I first saw them. And I've been seeing them everywhere here as well. They're like thorny and yellow flowers, like thorny bushes, yellow flowers. I'm not sure what they're called, but they're really beautiful. So it took me a while to hike up the mountain. And near the top, there's something called the Devil's Punch Bowl. And it turns out that there's this myth around it where I think someone had a run in with the devil and punched him in the face. And then the devil bit off some of the mountain and like spit it at him or something. Anyway, so there's like this, it's like this lake at the top of sort of between mountains. And yeah, I could see it. I could see someone thinking that it was sort of like a bite off a mountain. But it's this beautiful, really high up there kind of mountaintop lake. And there were some structures in there around there as well, made of stone that I wonder what the history of that place was, if anyone lived there or if this was, I don't know, like a hydroelectric dam of some sort. I don't know. But there are some old stone structures there, maybe a lookout. And the really cool thing is that like when you're going up the mountain, you can tell that you know that there's more mountains on the other side. You can kind of sense that, but you can't really see very many of them. Not until you're very close to the top, and then suddenly you kind of like round a corner and you can just see so many peaks. So it was really, really beautiful. So I really enjoyed climbing up Mangerton. That was a good day. And I had really good weather for it too. It rained like once or twice during the day, but when I was up there, I think I felt one singular raindrop on my forehead at one time, and that was it. It didn't rain at all. But I did see like a little sort of like rainbow cluster far off in the distance from above, which was really cool. It wasn't a rainbow because it wasn't like an arc. And I wonder if maybe because of the elevation, that's why I saw it the way that I did, or I'm not sure what exactly was going on, but I didn't see a rainbow, but it was definitely rainbow colored. And before that, so the night before I climbed the mountain, I had a really fun night out with the daughter of my workaway host, who was back in town from higher learning. Yeah, it was a fun night. And then up before then, so the first 2 days that I was here, it was beautifully sunny, and I went out and I saw Ross Castle. I explored some of the national park, but closer to the town. And I ended up cycling a little farther than I intended, and then going all the way to, I think it's called Muckross Abbey. So there's, this old cemetery, and then this abbey that is just fantastically gorgeous. And it has a courtyard that is around a yew tree. And just that whole place, as I was walking through, it felt such like strong energy. And I could absolutely see myself living in a place like that. It was just so beautiful. There were lots of little like nooks and crannies to sort of like sit at and peer out the window. And then the next day or two, it was fairly rainy. I wanted to go check out the national park a little bit more, and I specifically wanted to check out a waterfall because we had, it had been raining for a little bit. So I thought it might be a good time to see the waterfall. So I went to Torque Waterfall and I continued on the paths. I saw so many cool things. So as I was walking along the first part of the path in the national park, there had been a cedar tree that had been sort of like sliced, with chainsaw. It was cut down and there were slices of it. And so you could just smell, like, especially with the rain, there was just this strong, fresh cedar smell, which is so intoxicating. And then I rounded a corner and saw a field full of deer just like hanging out. And off in the distance were like the misty mountains, like there was just so much mist and all the clouds. It was so gorgeous, the way that it sort of like layered through the mountains. And I later, as I was like walking down the path after I went to the waterfall, I continued on the path and a deer actually crossed the walking path, and we had a moment of like looking at each other, checking each other out, and then he continued on. But then I walked up to where he was, where I'd seen him, and I looked over where he went, and he didn't go very far. So we like continued just kind of staring at each other and continued on. Then I went to there was a little cafe that I ended up, so I didn't go into the little, I think it's called Dinan's Cafe. I didn't go there, but I went around it, and there was this spot where it's like, I think it's where the two waters meet or something like that. And so it's this beautiful little bridge off in the distance, and then there were little trails going around, and so I had a snack, and I walked around the little trails and found a nice spot to sit and have my snack and watch the mountains. Just so beautiful. Yeah, wandering through along the paths, it just reminded me so much of where I grew up. There's so many spectacular views that I got. I must have taken 100 pictures that day. It was so beautiful. And then, I have been working here. So I've been working in the garden. I've been taking care of animals here. I got to pick up a chicken. That was 4 of them, actually, because we were working on the hens had like one spot in the stables that they were hanging out in while we were building the new hen run. And so I worked on the hen run for a few days, and then we finished it, and we brought the hens over, but we brought them over like basically 1 and 2 at a time, just like under our arms and holding on to them. And I had never picked up a chicken before. So it was really nice to like pick up a chicken and realize that, oh, this is kind of like, it's kind of like a feathered cat, Like there's some emotional stuff going on, and if you're chill and connecting with it, and then she's going to be really chill, hanging out with you. It's just a nice little warm being that you're holding on to. So it's really not that different. I was expecting it to be more different, and I was very enchanted that it wasn't. Yeah, that's basically been my week. So week in Ireland has been lovely. I'm moving to another spot tomorrow, and then I'll spend another week there, and then I'll make my way up to Dublin, and from there I'm going to be taking a bus. So the bus goes on to the ferry, and then you go to London. So it's a very long bus ride, but I'm looking forward to it, actually. And then I'll be in London by May 10th. And now I think I'm going to go into town and maybe find a cafe, work on editing the video, and have a nice little cafe experience before I leave tomorrow. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a great time. And oh yeah, a happy Easter. I almost forgot. because we didn't really do any sort of Easter celebration. The most that I did was I went into town and I got some discounted Easter chocolate and had a little bit. So that was my Easter plan. But I've been seeing lots of little videos of family celebrating Easter, and it's been really lovely to have that connection, to be able to watch those videos and see those pictures. Wow, I can't even believe that we're already nearing the end of April. Wow. How did this go by so fast? Okay, I'm going to end it there. I will check in with you again next week, and I think then the week after I'll be back in the UK. All right. Bye.